Der BasketsTalk mit Sean Marshall. Guten Morgen.
Good morning. Good morning.
Guten Morgen. Moin. That's how they say in Northern Germany. It's been a couple weeks now that you've been with us. And I first did not have that topic on my list, but you entered the office just a couple minutes ago with the Golden State Warriors hat on. And we had a nice little discussion about, whether it's your team or if you're a bandwagon fan or whatsoever. So you told me that you're a Lakers fan. It's tough times for you now.
Yeah, for sure. The Golden State hat, I own a lot of hats: football, basketball, baseball, hockey. I just like to collect them, all different colors. But I'm a Laker fan, and I have been since I was young. Through the good times, now the bad times, I'm going to remain a Laker fan, and every year hope for the best and be positive about it.
So what's the best a Laker fan can ask or could ask for in the 15-16 season? That Kobe doesn't get hurt anymore, and he'll be able to play through his final career.
Yeah, I mean that's what I hope for. I want to see him go out without an injury. Even though they're not winning, I enjoy just watching the fans' reaction to him in his final season, and how much respect that he's getting throughout the league from the players and the fans. He's been a guy that I've always looked up to since I was young. So to watch him from the start to the finish it's an amazing thing for me.
And it's to some degree it's funny. On the other hand, it's somewhat scary how fast those 20 years can pass by.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, I mean,
time flies, man.
Time flies, and that's crazy. So before we get really started with the more serious topics, your favorite Kobe moment?
My favorite Kobe moment?
Yeah.
It was the Western Conference Finals, the Lakers versus Blazers. I don't know what year it was. Kobe had the ball at the top of the key. He crossed over.
Yeah.
And he
crossed over Pippen.
Yeah, Scottie Pippen, and he threw the alley-oop to Shaq, and Shaq ran down the going pointer like this. I was going crazy. Unbelievable play. Kobe and Shaq together were probably, for me, not being able to watch Jordan in his full career, two of my favorite players to watch play together. Yeah. Just the chemistry they had together, even though the chemistry off the court might not have been as great, but on the court, the way they played together was unbelievable.
Were you there?
No.
That game?
No, I wasn't.
Okay, because
I was.
It sounded like if you were there.
I just remember having AAU basketball. We had a practice, and we just stopped practicing. We went in this small room. It was about the size of a closet, and there was like a TV this big, and we were all looking at the TV. And that's how I remember that play.
Yeah.
So
that's a fun. That's a great play.
Yeah.
And they made a TV commercial out of it a couple years later.
That's my favorite play.
That's a good one. Let's not talk about the US. Let's talk about playing in Europe.
Okay.
Let's talk about you playing in Europe. You played in so many countries: Turkey, Greece, France, Dubai.
Yep.
I guess. Now playing in Germany. What is it like to have a job where you're able to visit and see so many different countries? Not talking about international play where you move to other different countries as well, and being able to adapt to every single culture that you're thrown into.
For me, it's an unbelievable opportunity. I never would have thought that I would have the chance to go around the world and see these different places that I watched growing up on TV, or I learned about in my geography books in high school. So I try to absorb everything that I can, being in this opportunity to meet new people, learn about different cultures, the languages, the foods, especially the older I got. I started to appreciate that I can go around the world and not only play the game I love to play, but to learn about different cultures. So for me, it's been unbelievable. I enjoy France. I mean, I love Turkey. It's like my second home. Playing there for so long, and I made so many great friends. Then having the chance to go to Dubai when I finished my season in Turkey, I really never thought I would get to see Dubai, and that was unbelievable. I've never seen a place like that. And then now coming to Germany, a place that I always wanted to to learn about and experience. Now being able to get this opportunity I'm pretty fortunate.
What's been the one, or maybe top two cultural things or experiences that you would say, this is something I could have never imagined in my whole entire life? There are, maybe it's, whether it's maybe sides or traditions within a single country that you would say, this is something I didn't know of, and that's...
In Turkey, I cannot remember the holiday. It slipped my mind, but they sacrifice a lamb, and they do it out in the open. You could just be driving your car, and on this day, they're slicing the neck of a lamb, and then they're taking the blood and putting it on the forehead, and then they chop the lamb up and they eat it after. So one year, I think it was my 4th year in Turkey, maybe 3rd or 4th year, we sacrificed a lamb as a team. So a guy came to the gym, we walked outside of the gym, and there was a man with a knife. He cut the neck of the lamb, and all the guys just sit there watching. Some guys turned their back, and I remember a Slovenian guy, Yuri Balic, he couldn't watch it, so he turned his back. And we did this for good luck for the season. And I would have never imagined that I would ever be a part of that, because I love animals so much. So to watch that animal die there, it really got to me, because I would never do anything like that. But I understand that people have different religions and different traditions, so I didn't want to disrespect anybody, so I just stood there. And that experience, and then playing in France, getting to go to the Eiffel Tower and the Louvre Museum we just talked about. I went this past weekend. That was a place that I just watched in movies, and it always intrigued me. The architecture, the buildings, it's just a beautiful city, and I never thought that I would get to experience that. So those two things.
That's nice. And talking about Paris, in this case, you gotta go, if you have the chance, visit Berlin.
Okay.
Because just in case you didn't know, Berlin and Paris, there are so many similarities. And,
okay.
And
no, I didn't know.
The history of both cities is so close, because there were so many museums or paintings, statues that were robbed during whatsoever war, were robbed, went to one of the cities, influenced their art and their style, or the way the buildings were built, or streets were shaped or whatsoever, then it went all the way back and stuff. But that's nice between those two cities. When you had the chance, or when you had the interview with one of our local newspapers, you told them that you learned you took Turkey classes when you played down there. Did you already? Is this something that you had to do, or was this something that you figured out? Hey, if I'm down there, I want to be able to talk to the people out in the streets, or whether it's fans, or if I want to go into a restaurant and order my cafe or my dinner whatsoever, I want to do it in their language.
I took it upon myself. I've had a pretty successful career in Turkey, so I figured that was going to be my main market. So I just wanted to be able to try to understand, maybe I can't understand a full-out conversation, but if I can talk to a Turkish person and he speaks to me a couple sentences in Turkish, and I could pull words from there, and then I could understand something of what he's saying, and I felt like my life would be easier. So I didn't actually take classes. I would just sit down with my Turkish teammates, or people who work for the team like yourself, and I would just, whenever I was saying in English, I would say, how do you say that in Turkish? So it just became a routine like that, and I started to pick up on it, and all the basic stuff. Merhaba, united in the morning, Yaşama at night, Teşekkürler. I could say, how are you doing? And I'm doing fine. I went to McDonald's. I go order my food at McDonald's, and you know, and the way I like it too, like a double cheeseburger, no onions, no pickles, like stuff like that. Just little things that
water without gas.
Exactly, yeah, stuff like that. So it made my life a little bit easier. Then my wife came over, and she's also interested in learning the different languages, and so she had an app on her phone, and then she started to learn the Turkish bit by bit, and she's also doing the same thing here in Germany. She's teaching my daughter, and they do like a sit down for like an hour each day, and she's teaching her hi, my name is, and good morning, and so she's actually picking up a little bit on it too. So it's just
that's nice.
Just it's something that I feel like if you're going to be here, you need to respect the language and the culture that these people have, and try to adapt to where you're at.
And I think it helps. It tremendously helps to intermingle with people, whether it's the office staff, like us guys in the office, or whether it's fans or even waitresses or whatsoever. It's always, I think it's always nice when you're in another country, whether it's for a job or for vacation whatsoever, if you can go out there, and even if it's bits of pieces of words of tiny little you know, stuff like that, it's always nice.
Yeah, for sure.
I always like it when, I don't know, when a car stops by and there's, you know, some obviously foreign people sticking their heads out there and asking or trying to ask in German, you know, for directions or whatsoever. It's always, I think it's just nice, and it always gives people that are asked, always gives them a good feeling. That's how I see it. So how hard is it to actually learn Turkish? I mean, it's I know a couple of guys who went down there to study for a semester or two, came back and say it's a nice language, but it's damn hard to learn.
Yeah, I don't think, I mean, I didn't try to do it the way going through studying or anything like that, so I could only imagine how hard it is to read or to write or something to do like that. So for me, it was just trigger words, like if I could learn enough words and the basic stuff that, and especially the things I needed in my life, so I could convey that to other people, it would help me out. So that's just what it was. I really didn't have too much time, especially last year. I played in Euro Challenge and Turkish League. We were always on the road to sit down and, you know, do hooked on phonics or to take a class. So I just wanted to make my life easier and also have people respect me, because like you were saying, you being a guy from Germany, if a foreigner tries to speak in your language, it's kind of you kind of have like a respect for them for at least trying, you know. So that's just what my thing was.
Yeah, that's nice. So what is it being in Germany now, and how does, you know, the German language compare to English on one hand and Turkish on the other hand? What were you able to pick up so far? If there's anything.
I'm trying to think of the stuff that my wife has taught me, but for me it sounds just totally off the wall, because I've been so used to hearing Turkish for the past 4 years, and then of course my language English, so this doesn't sound like anything that I'm familiar with. So it's a little bit more difficult for me right now. If I sat down and put more of an effort into it, then I think I could pick it up. Like I said though, I knew I was going to be in Turkey, so that gave me the drive to try to pick up those words. So if I would have started the year here, I for sure would have. I made a better effort. Now coming down the last 2 months, I'm being a little lazy. So I think I need to pick it up in that section.
Well, it's okay. And the one thing is if you want to learn the language by the books, it's never going to be the same as if you're in the locker room with your teammates or with the German teammates, and they throw a couple things at you. I took Spanish classes way back, years back. Went to Spain for vacation. I couldn't understand a word those people were saying, because you know, they were, you know, using their language in a different kind of way. I think it's the same with whether it's German or Spanish or Turkish or whatsoever. I mean, my English that I learned in school is totally messed up, because all the people I do work with in basketball is Americans
Yep.
and guys from former Yugoslavia.
Yeah.
So, my Oxford English is, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
But talking about education, let's come to talk about Boston College.
Yeah.
What's it been like? What's been the basketball and the overall culture at Boston College? And why did a guy from California choose to go to Boston College, where it's cold and rainy and
Cold. Yeah. My mom's she was born in Boston, so she was from the East Coast. I went to Boston as a baby. I mean, I have no idea. I can't remember anything, but I see all the pictures when my mom took me and going down to Cape Cod and things like that. So when they started to recruit me, I wouldn't say that they were in the forefront above the other schools, but for sure I took into consideration that my mom was from there. All of her side of the family all lived out there, so I knew that I would have that family and people who, if I needed them, they would come help me and be there for me in tough times. So I took that into consideration. Also, it wasn't just me coming from California. Jared Dudley was from San Diego, and Craig Smith was from LA. So
you guys were co-captains, right? You and Dudley.
Yeah. So we all made the trip going west, and I think that kind of helped me being able to relate from somebody who did the same thing as me. So
was that just a coincidence, or did you guys hang out together and say, hey, Boston recruited me and they recruited me and you as well, let's go there together?
Craig went first, so Craig was 1 year older than me. So when I went on my recruiting visit, he was the one who hosted me. So obviously him being from LA, we could relate right away. Me and Jared came in the same year, and that just was a coincidence. So I think it was pretty easy though, because on our team we had 2 guys from Texas, 1 guy from Virginia, 3 guys from California. We had a mix of guys from different areas. So the biggest thing that I had to deal with was being in the snow, because I've never seen snow before I went to Boston. So I was 17 years old, and first time it snowed, I thought it was the end of the world. So that was.
How were you able to survive? How could
I didn't even have a jacket, so I had hooded sweatshirts, and then my aunt took me to get a big jacket, so a winter coat. So I had no idea what I was in store for, but going to BC was an unbelievable opportunity for me. We did so much winning while I was there, always top 10 in the country. And to be honest, it kind of hurts me to see them now, because they're struggling so much and they're changing coaches, and that's not the kind of environment and college experience that I can remember. So it's kind of upsetting to see that, but I hope for the best and stay positive and hope that things can turn around there.
How close is the Boston College family and guys that went there? I mean, from a German point of view, we had Patrick Heckman, who's with Bamberg now.
Yeah.
We went there from 11 to 15.
Yeah.
Being a former or being a national team player for the youth national teams. Yeah. Everybody knew when he went there. Everybody was like, "Ooh, Boston College. Let's have a look at at that program." What is it like when guys or former Boston College players meet on the pro level? Is it that you guys intermingle, or do you guys follow each other's routes? Or
I follow everybody. I follow everybody who went to BC. I just love basketball so much. I follow everybody who went everywhere. So. The funny thing is, I don't know if you're familiar with it, but we have a tournament in the States. It's called TBT. The tournament is like a $2 million. Last year was a $1 million tournament. This year it's a $2 million tournament. And you just create a team, and then the fans get to vote you in the tournament. Last year I played on the team with Larry Gordon from Bremerhaven, and this year we're getting a Boston College team. So it's funny that you asked that. We are like a big family. So it's right now I'm in a group chat with Tyrese Rice, Marquez Haynes, those guys I know played in Germany, Craig Smith, Raheem Sanders, Joe Trampani, Sean Williams, myself. And another guy named Akita McLean. So, we got the group together, and we're planning on playing in this big tournament, and we're going to represent Boston College. And things haven't changed. Like we might not see each other the same way that we did, but as soon as we get together, we're like a family again. I had three guys.
And I could imagine that it helps when you're stepping on the court.
Yeah.
Because, I could imagine that over the years, playing culture is, somewhat the same, and somewhat is, some things don't change, whether it's tactically or, whatever it may be. So it's easier to come together and just play, have fun, and win.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the biggest thing for us is we just want to have fun, but also we want to win. Yeah. So, I mean, we have a great group of talented guys who went to Boston College, so it should be fun. And I'm just excited to see everyone because it's been a while. I had three guys.
Where does it take place?
There's different regions. So they have the first round of games. You have LA, Chicago, I want to say North Carolina, and I can't remember the last region, but after that, then you have the Sweet 16 that takes place in Chicago, the Final Four that's in New York. It's a big thing. It's on ESPN. Like last year was the year that it became a big thing. They started to put the games on ESPN. This year, it went from 1 million to 2 million. So people have a great time. Everybody comes out to the games, and it's a big thing in the States in the summertime. So no NBA guys are allowed to play. It's just overseas guys or guys like yourself who just want to put together a team. If you get enough fans, you can just play.
I'm all for that kind of stuff. But if you need a spokesperson, just let me know where I got to sign up. But talking about playing culture, and that's a point I wanted to talk on later at first. But now that we're at that topic, is you played for the Westchester Knicks.
Yeah.
And you once told me that the D-League team for the New York Knicks is extremely close to the NBA affiliation or to the NBA team. And I once read that you guys had to play the triangle as well.
Oh yeah.
There's so much stuff written and said about the triangle, and then because we played it in our youth system as well. To some degree, it's super simple. On the other hand, it's super complicated.
Yeah.
What is it like to be thrown into that system and to having it to pick it up right from point zero and work with it?
I had no experience with the triangle, so for me it was like you said, starting from point zero and having no knowledge. That was a challenge, but we had 1 week of training camp before we started our first game, so to learn the triangle, all the parts of it, it was a process. So starting from the beginning of the season, putting in piece by piece the basic things in the triangle, that was pretty simple, and then putting all the counter actions, because that's all the triangle is. It's you have your basic, and then you have all the counter actions that come with it. But once you pick up on it, I can tell you this, it's an extremely hard thing to defend, because if you try to overplay this, there's always a counter, and there's always a play that you can't try to, we're going to guard this play like this. It's impossible to do that. So I think it made me a better player at learning how to space the floor and be in the right spots, and reading off how to play off your teammates. That helped me improve my game, and I'm just grateful I had the chance to learn the triangle and be around that atmosphere. Like you said, we practiced in the Knicks training facility. We had a locker room in the same building as Porzingis, Carmelo. I remember walking past Phil Jackson and oh my God, it's Phil Jackson. And seeing Porzingis and seeing Carmelo, it's a cool experience that they have going on there at Westchester. And I think that each year they're going to be more successful because they're trying to emulate that system they have with the big Knicks with the small Knicks, and that seems to always work out.
And you were able to play with Januar, who recently signed the pro contract with the Knicks.
Yeah.
And I talked to, I don't know if we discussed this or if I talked to Gino about it the other day, that it is hard for shooters to finally find their spot in the NBA. Yeah. Especially when you're coming out of college and all you're known for is shooting.
Yep.
And I remember that we talked about it wasn't Jim, it was JJ Redick.
Yeah.
And it took him years to find his role in the NBA. So what is it that you would say from your days that you experienced with Januar and in the D-League, where you would say this or that, that tells me he's an NBA player and not meant to be in the D-League anymore or any longer?
I think the biggest thing with Jimmer is just finding a system and a coaching staff that will let him be himself. I think people think that Jimmer's only a shooter, which he's an extremely good shooter.
Stick to your strengths.
But from what I learned about being on Jimmer's team is he actually can play off the dribble pretty well. He has a nice feel for the game, a nice floater. He can handle the ball. He can make plays by passing too. I think he's one of the best offensive players I've ever played with. And so I think the biggest thing is just finding a fit for him. Just my conversations with Jimmer. He was my roommate on the road a couple times, and I remember us having conversations about just getting the opportunity to be himself. He felt like he had played on teams that didn't really allow him to do that. And I mean, hopefully he finds that opportunity for him. He's a unique kind of player in that he's only about 6'2", so he's not really a shooting guard, but he's not a true point guard, so it's kind of he's a tweener. So that also makes it hard for him, but I mean, I think he's a great player, and in my opinion, I think he's an NBA player, and I wish him the best of luck. I actually texted him the day he got called up because I read it, and I just told him I was extremely happy for him. He wrote back and said, I've been following you in Germany, blah, blah, blah. So from my experience with Jimmer, he's a great guy, and he's an excellent player. I hope he gets the opportunity.
And the triangle might fit him well.
Yeah.
Because it opens the floor, and you know, if he's able to find the right angle and find the right spots, that could be nice.
Yeah.
But talking about being yourself, can you be yourself playing for the Telekom Baskets Bonn? Do you feel like you're playing as Sean Marshall has to play?
I don't think so. This situation is, the situation is what the situation is. Everybody knows that it's a difficult time here for Telekom Baskets, and me coming here at the end of the season, trying to find my way. I know for a fact I haven't lived up to the capabilities that I know I can play, but I just remain positive. I know we have 11 games left in the season, and the job is still to win. So, like I said, I'm going to continue to work. I'm going to continue to try to find my niche on this team, and try to play the way that I'm capable of playing, like that I've proven that I've played throughout my career. Regardless of the situation is what it is, or if it's hard, or if it's positive or negative, it doesn't matter. My job is to do what my job is, and if I'm not doing that, I'm going to put pressure on myself, and I'm going to look myself in the mirror, and that's the first person I'm going to start with before pointing the finger at anybody else. So.
Yeah. I recently read a quote from Kurt Rambis, who's with the Knicks, obviously, and he was talking about losses, and he said, you deal with it. If you're a competitive athlete, I don't know how you could lose games at any point in time and be okay with it. Yeah. And I figured, that's something I gotta tell Sean, because I think that your mindset is not like you lose a game and you're okay with it. Yeah. Where does that come from?
I've been like that since I was a kid. My dad used to have to tell me that I had to get over it, but I could never get over losing, and it eats me alive. Even being here and being here for the short amount of time that I've been here, and I wasn't here when the 15 games in a row were lost. 14. Sorry. And but I feel like I'm a part of that, because I'm a winner, and I've always been a winner. So to come here and not win or help win, it bothers me. And I take pride in my job. I take pride in being out on the court and having the fans respect the effort that you're putting out there, or the product that you're putting out there on the floor. So for me to come here and feel like, in a way, I've let the fans down, I've let the organization down, just being here through my 6 games, I'm not okay with that, and I don't think I'll ever be okay with that, regardless if it's basketball, if it's anything in life. I try to do everything to the best I can, 100%, and try to be the best at it. And if I'm not, then, like I said, I'm going to look at myself first. And I'm a guy who's very outspoken, so once I deal with myself, then I'm going to challenge my teammates, and that's just the way that I've always done things.
Yeah, and now that you touched the subject, we reached out to fans to send us in a couple questions, and Felix sent one in, and you wanted to know, where do these defensive meltdowns come from that we have, and how is it that even though we had 1 weekend off over the Cup weekend, and we had the All-Star break off before, that those meltdowns still occur? Where does it come from?
Yeah, I mean, it's a frustrating thing because, for 3 quarters, we played pretty solid. And then it seems like at some point in the 4th quarter, we just fall apart. And I honestly believe that a lot of it has to do with chemistry. Good teams know, I know what you're going to do, you know what I'm going to do. You know, if you get beat, I'm going to be there to help you, or if I get beat.
And I know where you were standing before that, so I can rotate.
Exactly. So I think that's our biggest thing right now. That's something, I hate to say it, that's normal when you're changing players, when guys are getting hurt, guys are coming back. You're always rotating different situations. You don't really have that time to gel. Yeah. So I think that at the end of the day, we really don't have that time. So we have to do it now. We have to use these practices to try to gel more quickly than we would be in the beginning of the season in August, when you have that month and a half to go through preparation games. And you guys did that with your team, with your previous team, but those guys aren't here, and me and Yancey came in, Isaiah was hurt, Tadas just came back. So, good teams are teams that know what everyone's going to do, from top to bottom. And I don't think we have that right now. And I'm not saying that we can't get that, but it's going to take a lot of trust in each other, a lot of communication. And if we do that, then I think we could limit these meltdowns we have when we go through a stretch of layups or wide open shots or not rotating and guys being late. We can do it. It's going to take a tremendous amount of work. And I think the games when we play at home are a lot better because we're playing at home, the fans are on our side, we might make some shots, we feel a little bit better, but on the road, it's more evident because you're playing a hostile environment. The opposite team has the momentum, things like that, and that's when you really have to come together, and we're just lacking that right now.
So when I remember when you came in, I think your first home game was Ulm, right?
Oh yeah.
And we were down by 4 at the end of the 3rd quarter, and I remember you saying after that very game, that you remembered going to the bench at the end of the 3rd quarter, being down just 4, and having the feeling as if we were down by, let's say, 20, 25. How can one avoid that kind of a feeling, or especially when you're coming in as a new player by that time of point? How are you able, or if ever, to crack that up, to crack that mindset up, to say, hey guys, I know we played a mess of a 3rd quarter, but look at the scoreboard, it's just -4. Let's 2 quick layups, it's 0-0 or a 3-pointer, and we're right there.
That's the challenge of being a good team and a bad team, in my opinion. I think we've gotten better at remaining positive in these tough times when we might go through a stretch where we don't score and we come to the bench and everybody's feeling a little bit negative. I think we've gotten more positive, and CP does a great job with being, in my opinion, one of his greatest attributes is being a positive guy. So I think we've done a better job at that, but like I said before, the thing that we're lacking is that it's that trust and that cohesiveness where everyone knows exactly what's going to happen. And I think that if we had that feeling, being down by 4 wouldn't feel like being down by 15 or 20. But when you're not together like this, being down by 4 feels like so much. So I think it all comes down to that. And we just got to keep picking at it and, hopefully have a little success would bring some positive energy, and we can build from there.
Sometimes it's that simple, yet so difficult at times. Final 2 questions. When you came here, you talked about you reached out to Jared Jordan to gather some information about the Telekom Baskets bond. And in that short amount of time you had, once you got the offer, and then finally you had to decide to come over, he didn't respond.
Yeah.
Has he ever come back to you or responded to you afterwards?
Yeah, he wrote me back. He just explained to me the situation was a little negative right now because of the losing, and he thought that I could come in and help the situation. He said that there were a lot of great people in the organization. He loved his time here. Fans were great for him, and the dome, playing in the dome was unbelievable. That was basically it. He texted me before the Carnival game and was like, enjoy the Carnival game.
So no words of advice, nothing?
No, he didn't give me any words of advice.
Ooh, he let you down on this one.
So he just texted me before the Carnival game and was like, enjoy it. It's gonna be a fun experience. And I just wrote back, can't wait. And that's it. So 2-part question. What's it been like to play the Carnival game? Yeah.
And what's it gonna be on Sunday when we meet Jared Jordan when he's returning to his former team now?
Carnival game was like nothing I've never seen. It was my wife and daughter's first game here, first couple days here.
Catwoman and Flash?
Catwoman, Robin, and Batman.
Robin.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So we did the family costume thing. It was fun. I was happy we won the game, so everybody could celebrate after, even though I think that it would have been still somewhat of a celebration anyway. But it's better when you win. It's better when you win. So that was great. It's a memory that I always remember. And playing on Saturday against Jared, I'm happy he's coming back here, but I'm sorry that he's not going to be able to get the win, because we need this win. We're going to come in here, we're going to fight, play our best, stay positive, and try to make the fans proud of us.
Final question before I throw you out of this one before practice. Kevin sent this one in. What's been the worst joke you read or heard when it comes to your last name? Because when we reached out to the fans, we put out this, it's a new marshal in town.
Yeah.
So what's been the best or the worst joke you ever heard about your last name, if there is anything?
I don't think anybody's ever joked on my name. I think that my first game in France, my third year, my first game, we played Asvel Baskets on the road, and it was a TV game because they were the reigning champions. And we won that game there, and I had a big game, and I just remember the commentators nicknamed La Sheriff, so they called me the sheriff.
Okay.
In France, that was it. My name was no longer Marshall. Everywhere I went was the sheriff. So I always had to hear that, but jokes, nothing really, just that.
Yeah.
So that's it.
So we need a big game from you on Sunday, so we can call you the sheriff for the remainder of the season. That a deal?
Okay, yeah.
Let's see.